Republic, almost an annual norm of precipitation fell in some areas, mostly in mountains. Here it was mostly in the east, but it doesn't matter which part of the country because many countries were affected. And just imagine that almost an annual, like more than half at least of annual norm fell within several days. And of course, the huge wave of the flood has already kind of receded, but these neighborhoods will be fighting for months, not even for weeks. It will be for months. There are so much. For example, I've been reading some news and some, for example, owners of one factory who are producing furniture. And just imagine wooden furniture and 2 meters of water in a factory. So they say they will deal with their outcomes of the event for at least a year to recover what has happened. And it's a business, okay, they will recover, but imagine ordinary people who have to deal with it, whose houses have been completely destroyed. And winter is coming. It's only September. And winters in our part of Europe, I mean, for all of these countries named, means snow and below zero temperatures, where these people will go. And is it so easy to find a new accommodation when your home was, even if not destroyed, just imagine your home flooded. It doesn't mean that water has come and water goes away and everything normalizes. It means you have to deal with the consequences. It means probably all of your furniture and electronic equipment you have to throw away. Just as simple as that.
Yes, exactly. And I just wanted to clarify a bit and maybe give a bit of information, because we jumped into this straight because we've been here. We're like in the middle of the whole situation, but we have people probably that are watching us from some like maybe US or England or any other distant places. And we had a big, huge flood in all those countries that we mentioned. And people were actually handling it very well, surprisingly for us. Because, as I told you before, we've been observing and studying these cases for years already, and in some places it's not that much organized. But so we were observing how the people, how the authorities, how the households were reacting on the situation. So, and that's actually one of the main reasons why we wanted to conduct this stream and to share with you some good things and negative things about the behavior of the people, because it sometimes was surprising. And actually, in like few days before the whole thing happened, there was a warning issued by the government of like I'm talking at the moment about Czech Republic, for example, right? If there are some people on the stream from Poland or any other country which were affected by the same situation, you can write in the comments. We have people also on TikTok and YouTube, Facebook watching us. Write in the comments how it was handled in your places. So for us, frankly speaking, I was really surprised in a good way, because the government really took a great care about the people. There was issued warning. There was some preparation. The banks of the rivers in cities, I know they were put in order as well to lift the shore bank. There were sandbags, some special construction. A lot of things were made, and actually I went myself on the Charles Bridge to have a look how the water level was at the moment, and I've seen plenty of preparations. I've seen policemen, people everywhere, some special staff in metro, for example. They were like taking care of people, directing them in case if there was some like a leakage from the floor. It was really surprising. Even on a tree, on the square, there was a signage, A4 size paper signage, that please take care of your sail, because there might be a strong wind and there might be some like damage. You might get some damage during just walking around on a square. So please take care about yourself. who cares like about the people in some countries? uh,
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
that's very nice.
we face this situation in some other countries that people are neglected by the government. But here was really, we've seen so many pictures and videos how people were rescued using helicopters, using so many equipment. I don't know, you don't live Oля, in a Prague at the moment. You stay closer to the German border. How was it happening in your place there? Do you have any examples?
Um, like my examples will be mostly from the news and what I heard from friends, because we live at a height, so it's kind
You're
of a very
lucky.
hilly area. Yeah, we live at a height of maybe 600 meters, so we were just following the situation. But unfortunately, some people who lived in mountains, especially these rivers of water, streams of water, are quickly forming in mountains, and I know about the whole village is cut off from civilization, and without electricity, without water. But also on the same side, on the other side, there were different stories about so many people even opening their shops to visitors, helping, for example, shop owners, seeing that people cannot use apparently their mobile devices to, we are all used to mobile, to paying via mobile, and people, for example, didn't have cash and they allowed them just to take food and so many other things. And
Yeah, by the way,
or
while you're talking, I'm
the
showing on the screen for the people who did not see it in the news
oh
for
wow.
some reason, the pictures of the European cities. So for you just to have an idea how it could happen, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I was thinking that in some places it was up to 2 meters of water. And think about of the, okay, I'm a small one, I'm a meter and a half, but for me, but 2 meters, it would be enough for even the tallest person. How many people of a height of 2 meters do you know?
Yeah, and
So
it's not only about the height, it's about the
it's
power
about
of
the
the water.
stream,
Yeah, about the stream.
about the speed. Yeah. For example, I don't know, there are so many good examples, but maybe I would like to mention few of the things that might seem a little bit negative, but just to see that many people care about other people, care about their lives. At the same side, on the other hand, there were also cases of people ignoring the warnings. Yes, as we mentioned, warnings came almost a week before this happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Even before the event, people started, for example, to fill sandbags. Communities were united, filling up sandbags or building these anti-flood small fences. But this is also not very cheap and not very available. Sandbags are
Yeah, of course. No
easier
one
to
wants to
find.
waste money for something that is not needed.
Yes, it's quite expensive, but this is something that helps people to save lives, to save entire communities. This is another side, of course, of, we cannot not mention that, of our consumers format, where life unfortunately is still so much in the first place. And there were news about, for example, a driver who simply ignored the warning of air not entering a breach. And he entered a breach which was already practically destroyed by a flood, and there was a warning, there was a ban. He ignored that and he fell into the river.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah,
It's curious to ask
sometimes.
this guy like what he had in his mind, because I know myself being a man and like, oh, why are they telling me this bullshit? I will do it anyway because I know better. But the thing is that we are facing such problems with the, let's call it, weather at this particular moment that we've not faced it before, and most of us don't have experience in that. So acting like that is just like being so stupid and selfish, because the stream might take not only you like 60, 70, 80 kg person, but with a whole huge car of 2 tons, and like it's taking the whole trucks and huge tractors
and buses and so
and
on.
buses, everything, and carries and drags it for kilometers. So that's a good thing that you raise for the people, just to think that if you have not been in such a situation, you don't have experience in that, just think twice that's your life, and it's only one life that you have, and you might have some relatives, girlfriends, kids, whatever.
It's in a car. Yeah. And in this case, the driver survived. It was also only very much destroyed car, and firefighters managed to take it out. But in another case, unfortunately, there an elder woman was evacuated to safety in one of the villages in the east of Czech Republic. And but you know, water comes in waves, and when after one wave came through, she went back home. But unfortunately, another wave of water came, this stream. And at this point, firefighters just couldn't come to her house to save her. And until now, she wasn't found for more than a week. So unfortunately, it seems like the woman is deceased. And you are taken to safety, you are evacuated, and then you are deciding to go back to the house in midst of the flood. So these are some of the cases which, okay, please learn from the mistakes of the others. Take the warning seriously. And you know, the same situation, we've heard these stories before, when people not taking seriously the warning of fires coming in and saying, no, it's my
Like
home.
tsunamis. You remember that story
Yeah.
about the people in Japan in 2011 that the government issued a warning about that, but
And they
people
came to watch the
are facing
tsunami, right?
tsunamis there and earthquakes like on a daily basis, so they did not really care. And the government did a really good job at the time, and they were asking people, warning them, leave. But like plenty of people came there on the seashore with their phone, as usually we have this cell phone civilization, which I need to film that. Okay, and what we faced, thousands of people were injured, and the cities were demolished there. Probably, if you don't remember, just Google about that. The 2011 tsunami, it was horrible, and this is what describes our humanity at the moment. Sometimes we act so stupid, like we are 5 years old. We need just to take responsibilities. We're all adults now already. And unfortunately, yes,
life,
the life.
That life should be the highest value. And okay, I understand. I cannot understand how it is to lose your home, to even see it being destroyed by a stream of water. I understand, especially for elderly people, are so attached to their things and so on. But still, to understand that house can be rebuilt, there will be people who will help you. But life is something you will not gain again. And you see, even governments this way, they acted wisely. So we understand that by the cooperation between people, and I understand maybe people sometimes can be a little bit wary of what is government doing, but in this case, we've seen that they've been doing what they could. Of course, we understand that what was done isn't enough, just because in the format of relationships we have today in what we are doing isn't enough, because we still do not have our scientists unified, we do not have our governments unified, and there are even some confrontations between different countries going on today. And I remember, Dima, you were mentioning some good examples in this case, like how to say we are still fighting while there's a bigger threat.
Yeah, that's the point we wanted to raise with Oli today, that according to the news, of course, we're watching all those interesting, let's say, news worldwide, that we have another conflict there, those countries are competing with those countries, that leader said that, and we have election there, and blah, 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 all this stuff. But is it that important at the moment when you are facing some climate disasters like an earthquake that we had a few years ago in Syria and Turkey, and God knows only how many people we lost there. And when we have tsunami, when we have this kind of flooding, it does not matter who will win that election if you have a wave coming at you at the moment, right? But just think about that there are people, scientists, who have predicted all this situation. They have told us that this is going to happen, of course, not in small details. They did not mention that in Czech Republic on that day will be like that and like that. But in general, they showed us the trend, the direction of the development of the situation with the climate, that it's going to worsen. So instead of researching it deeply, instead of moving forward, investing money in research, giving our scientists the financing to like creating new new, I would say,
Solutions.
new solutions, yes, for us, for humanity, how to mainly to study. You need to start from something, right? You cannot find a solution if you don't study it. But we are now at the stage of ignoring the problem. How can you find a solution if you just pretend that nothing happened? And I think after this situation in Europe with the flooding, plenty of people will see that maybe really something's going on. And maybe, right? I put my hope in that people will wake up at least a bit, or some of them. I know most of them will not, because we face these kind of issues for years already. It was happening in Italy for a couple of years non-stop, and China is drowning in flood for like 8 consequent months already, and no one cares. And I understand why, because we've been separated, we have other issues. But do we? And who separates us? I think it's all made intentionally, just in the way to separate and control us. And I don't know, you might have some different ideas about that, but that's what I clearly see. Because if we, as a humanity, we see that our neighbor next door is drowning or he has fire, you might think that, okay, maybe it will come to my house. It will definitely come to my house as well. And I need to help my neighbor in this difficult situation. So together we can maybe handle it better. We can call other guys from other street to stop the fire, to stop the water, to do at least some actions, to negotiate with each other. If we had some problems before, maybe we can put those problems inside and find a solution to the bigger problem at the moment. And I really hope that it's gonna happen. We don't lose our hope, and that's why we have these kind of streams about climate. Instead of like hanging out with our friends on Friday night, we hang out with you guys talking about climate, because you see it's really important.
You also, what you mentioned, how important it is, and that people seeing with something happening to the neighbor, and all of these events actually in practice are showing that people are coming stronger, people are coming together. All of these floods in Czech, even it was, for example, now there is a news. It's already of 2 days. It's already after floods. For example, I'm following several Telegram channels, and there are people, volunteers are joining, volunteers are coming in huge amounts to the area to help. And for example, their warehouse of like a food bank to help those affected by the flood is already full, and drivers are gathering the help even on the way going there. So it means so much help has already come in. The whole country has got active, got involved. And
Yeah, it's a good
also
example
we've
that
heard
people are
this
united.
about, yeah, and it was happening in many events. I remember how the eyewitnesses on Hawaii on those
In Lahaina.
fires on Lahaina, how they were helping each other. They said that governmental help came maybe about 10 days later, but before that there were already help coming from different islands. And we could go on for hours just enumerating these cases and citing some situations where people came help to people first. So this really means what Dima has already, what you have mentioned already, that all this conflict, they are intentionally boosted just to divide us more and more. But when people will get wiser, and we should get wiser, we will stop all that, because this is not our nature. This is definitely not our nature.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And about maybe you wanted to say a few words about the report you have.
Yeah, actually,
on the table.
We mentioned that this happened, of course, and it's a horrible event. And actually, it was all predicted and written in a climate report that we ask everybody to get acknowledged with. And I will show you, for example, on its screen here, if you can see. The name of that report is a report on the progression of climatic disasters on Earth and their catastrophic consequences. It has 91 pages, pure facts with topics related to earthquakes, to flooding, droughts, wildfires. It shows the statistics that it's really actually happening, and that it increased in the past decades, like 30, 50 years. There was a severe increase in quantity and the volume of the events. And I wanted also to show you, for example, the statistics about the floods, our topic today, because we will be coming back to this report so many times in our future streams. But today, for example, you can see that the number...
What's the beginning date? Because I don't see
1960
quite clearly
is
here.
the beginning, and the data reaches 2023. It was released at the end of 2023. So that's why you can see that the number of the floods around the world increased 1,005, like 6 times as many as it used to be between 1970s. For 10 years, 1970s to 1980, the quantity was 260 floods worldwide. We're not talking even about Europe, worldwide, 260 severe floods. Between 2014 to 2023, it was 1,500, 6 times more. You clearly see the trend. I hope our text report can show it. You can see the trend, and there is no any reason for the trend just to go down. And you can find this report on creativesociety.com.
Yeah, and our technical support maybe now will show you the QR code to
it's easier for you to scan. You can just go ahead, scan this QR code, or just go to creativesociety.com. You find all the information there. It's all open with all the links. We did not make it up.
Yeah, and there, by the way, the report is a resource, but I know I've read this report, and it is a heavily sourced, heavily referenced report. Below every graph you see, there is a source of information. Either this graph was taken from some resource already, or it was based on some primary data, and we've built this report on the data available from also some recognizable resources. But I mean, below each of the graph, below each of the figure, and each information will be referenced, so you can go to all of the primary sources and to verify this all. But this report is really beautiful because it explains everything, starting from the progression, all of the reasons, but it also is talking about the solution. It emphasizes what should be done to address the situation, and this is, I mean, the optimistic side.
Yeah, we as human beings, we need always a solution. And when you don't see a solution, you just get depressed by that. And guys, in that report, there is a solution, and it's actually very simple. That's you're already part of it if you're watching us, because that's the first step. You need to get the true information about what's going on at the moment. After that, get acquainted with that report, for example, or any of the videos that you will find on the website creativesociety.com. And after that, share the information. And the next step, when everybody is aware about that already, you will understand already, you will feel it inside that, okay, we are ready for action. When you know the truth, you can clearly see. Because, of course, at the moment, we are facing the raise of CO2 level, and it's really important that our scientists already came to a conclusion that, yes, it affects the global climate situation, but there are also other reasons which are not that popular in scientific world, which are also raised in that report, and you cannot just close your eyes and neglect those reasons, because our sphere, our planet is a live organism, and everything affects everything. It's just law of physics, so you cannot ignore it. And that's why we are, as human beings, we are part of the solution, and we just forgot that we have that power that that we can make a change, and everybody of us makes a change every day in your life, and not only in your family or your work, but also globally in your country, in your continent, on your continent, and in the whole world. But for that, we need just to be united. And that's one of the first steps that you guys make today by being with us. Thank you so much for that, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who have started listening to us and listen to this point. So of course, we really encourage you to go to buy the QR code or find the report on the creativesociety.com. And as part of the solution, also, I would highly recommend you to watch the video about water generators, which you'll also find on the creativesociety.com, because the pollution of oceans by plastics is also our side of our human impact, our anthropogenic impact on the climate. But also this issue contains a big solution, and there is a great part to it, because as actually their flood situation is also raising a huge issue of water, and this is something also which will concern soon all of the planet. And just we do not want to imagine the world where we humans, civilized humans, will be fighting for a sip of water and taking away a bottle of water from another person, from a child. And there are solutions to provide it clean water to everyone to avoid this crisis, and also to solve the climate situation. So if you're intrigued, please go to creativesociety.com and find the video about water generation, because we really envision the future where we can overcome not only the climate crisis, but when people will understand the power of unity, when we humanity will understand that we are much stronger, we can do much better as one united organism, as one humanity, as a true civilization, a lot of beautiful changes are awaiting us.
Yeah, all those changes are about to come. We are on threshold of those changes. And the only thing separates us from that is a decision that everyone can make today. And we want to stay positive, and we want to be not on sunny side down, we want to be on the sunny side of our life. And I think we will handle it with dignity and respect to each other. No matter what some people predict for us, we always can change it. So I think we've talked enough about this huge water disaster we had in Europe, and our next topic will be also related to climate. All of them will be related to climate, because we think that that's one of the most important problems that we as a humanity face today. Of course, we have, as I mentioned, conflicts, but those conflicts are between people, and any second people can just say, okay, stop, enough is enough. It's not fun anymore. Okay, let's find some solution and stop for a while. But the problem with the climate takes much longer time to be solved, and we need already to do it yesterday, not even today, because we're running out of time. So yeah.
Yeah, in our future podcast, we'll be also talking about the most up-to-date news regarding the climate situation. Unfortunately, there will be always something to talk about, as we see, because the climate
yes,
change
that's a good word.
is progressing. Yes. So for now, climate will be given most of our topics, and maybe if there are any specific issues you would like to, for us to cover, maybe you can write us in the comments on any of the platform where you're following us, and we can discover them more. And
yeah, that's actually a good point. You
Mm.
can give us some topics that you are interested in. For example, that you live in an area and you don't really understand why this abnormality is happening with the weather and climate. And if we know, we can give you an answer, and we can talk about that in a stream. We can also do some additional research and talk with our scientists. So for you to know, because if people are eager to know about some issues, they deserve to know that. That's your right. So thank you so much again for being with us. That was a Sunny Side Down podcast. Today was me, Dima, and Ola also with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.